Hi, I'm Matthew Moscoviak, Senior Associate Editor at CNET.com, and we're here with the LG BD570. This is a new standalone Blu-ray player from LG, and it's the follow-up to last year's popular BD390. Now, the biggest change that you'll notice right off the bat is the design. This has a much more slimline profile than last year's model. It's also much shallower. If you look at the front panel, it flips down to reveal the disc tray, the front panel controls, and also a USB port. Now, if you're going to leave a USB drive in there with some movies or music on there, you'll notice that you'll have to keep the flip-down panel in the down position, which will take away a little bit from its style. The remote is also completely redesigned for this year. It has a glossy finish. You'll notice in the middle there's a little bump that helps you find the playback controls in a darkened home theater, and that's a feature that we really liked. Also redesigned this year is the player's graphical user interface. This year the design has floating ice cubes to make your selection. We kind of liked last year's simpler design a little bit more, but the nice thing is that once you go into the netcast section, it's pretty simple with just big blocks to make your choice. Now, in the netcast section, you'll see all of the streaming media features of the player. There's Netflix, Vudu, Pandora, YouTube, basically all the major streaming media services that you'd want, with the exception being Amazon Video on Demand, but that service is largely replicated by the Vudu. Like last year's player, this has built-in 802.11 Wi-Fi, which means you don't need to have an Ethernet connection in your living room to enjoy the streaming media features. Now, the major feature that the BD570 doesn't have this year is that it doesn't have 3D Blu-ray capability. Now, that's not a big missing feature for us. We haven't tested any 3D Blu-ray players yet or any 3D HD TVs, so we don't know how well the new format actually going to work. However, it is worth pointing out that the competing Sony BD570 is going to get a 3D upgrade in the summer, as well as the PS3 Slim, which is about the same price. If you look around back, you'll see the port selection is pretty standard on a Blu-ray player. The main thing to point out is that the BD570 does not have the 7.1 analog outputs that last year's BD390 had. Moving on to Blu-ray image quality, overall we found the image quality on the BD570 to be excellent. It passed all of the most important test patterns that we threw at it, and most importantly, it also passed all of our main program material tests. Overall, for the vast majority of movies you're going to see, this is going to provide about as good a picture as you can expect. In terms of operational speed and disk load times, we found that the BD570 was a little bit slower than our reference Oppo Blu-ray player. We didn't notice a big difference while using it, but if you're someone that likes to demo movie scenes for friends, you may want to go for the faster Oppo or the Sony BDP S570. Altogether, we found that the BD570 has a great mix of streaming media options and solid Blu-ray playback. The street price is also down to $250, which is a big break from last year's model. The only thing we'd point out is that it's not as much of a standout product as last year's model, as much as the competition has caught up. I'm Matthew Moscoviak here for CNET.com, and this is the LG BD570.